absolute fucking. And they say Bigfoot isn't real?
Давайте, пожалуйста, позвоним кому-нибудь не там или кому им честно звонить. Звоним, набираем. Мне
This unsettling clip was uploaded on r/True Cryptozoology's Reddit by a long-haul truck driver who said he had pulled off a quiet highway to rest for the night. The driver had parked his rig in a gravel turnout surrounded by tall, dense trees and switched off the engine to sleep. As the cab settled into silence, a strange call echoed from deep within the forest. Curious and uneasy, he began recording the sound through the open window. At first, the noise resembled a distant howl, but it soon shifted into something far more unsettling.
Absolute fucking. Starting to regret that I stopped at this rest stop. And they say Bigfoot isn't real? I don't even want to stick my arm out the window.
The call stretched longer than any normal animal cry, deep and resonant, carrying through the trees with unusual strength. What made the recording more troubling was the pattern of the sounds. They arrived in slow intervals, followed by long moments of complete silence, as though something was moving carefully through the darkness between each call. Even through the phone's microphone, the sound seemed close enough to make the quiet forest feel suddenly smaller. After several minutes, the calls stopped just as abruptly as they had begun. The forest returned to the stillness of a roadside night, and nothing else appeared in the recording. The trucker remained inside the cab until sunrise, and later shared the clip online, where listeners struggled to explain what they were hearing. But if you were resting alone beside a dark forest, and those sounds began echoing through the trees, would you stay in the truck, or try to see what was making them? While moving along a narrow trail, they discover a dark cave and spot a leopard inside. One member bravely steps closer to get a better look, while another keeps the camera trained on the scene. Suddenly, the leopard lunges at the approaching person. The camera shakes as he narrowly avoids the attack, stumbling backward. The rest of the group reacts quickly, firing shots toward the animal to drive it back. The leopard hesitates, then retreats into the shadows of the cave, while the camera continues recording the tense moments.
Okay, we can see him nicely. Here he's going out. I'm getting...
The footage ends with the man safe, the forest returning to quiet stillness, and the group visibly shaken. The reason the leopard was there remains unexplained, leaving the encounter mysterious and chilling. And if something so powerful can strike so suddenly, would you ever dare approach it again? While trekking deep into the Appalachian wilderness for a midday camping trip, two friends noticed a sudden, heavy silence fall over the forest. The footage starts as they navigate a dense thicket, where a tall, matted figure is seen crouched in the shadows of the brush, watching them with a chilling stillness. The tension breaks instantly when the figure stands upright, revealing a massive, gaunt frame covered in layers of dark, tangled hair. Instead of retreating, the wild man begins to move toward the hikers with a fast, jagged stride that feels disturbingly human. Its proportions are unsettling, and it shows no fear of the two men, closing the distance between the trees and the trail with terrifying speed. The encounter ends in a blur of motion as the hikers turn and run, their heavy breathing filling the audio as they flee back toward civilization. The camera catches one final shaky glimpse of the figure standing in the middle of the trail, watching them retreat before it melts back into the green labyrinth of the mountains. They left their gear behind and never looked back, leaving only this footage as proof of what they found. If you were miles from the nearest road and realized you were being hunted in broad daylight, would you ever go back? Two women driving through a remote forest in Russia. As their car moves along a narrow dirt road, the camera captures movement among the trees ahead. A tall, dark figure standing upright in a clearing. Its posture and size immediately seem unnatural, clearly distinct from any known animal in the area. The figure remains mostly still, watching the car for several seconds before shifting slightly and disappearing into the forest.
Мы врезались.
Блин, по сигнале муж, чтобы он сюда прошел.
Да как не по сигнале? Может, он сам сидит на измене? Что это?
Надо уезжать.
Давайте, пожалуйста, позвоним кому-нибудь, ментам или кому-нибудь честно звоните.
Звони, набирай.
Меня
The camera shakes as the women react in surprise, their voices barely audible over the quiet of the woods. The forest seems to swallow the figure instantly, leaving nothing but shadows and rustling leaves behind. The video ends without revealing the figure again, leaving viewers with only the brief glimpse caught on camera. No explanation accompanies the footage, and the forest returns to its normal silence. But if something that large can stand silently among the trees, do you think Bigfoot could really exist? Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. If you are enjoying the video so far, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers, and once we hit that milestone, a few lucky subscribers will receive a special surprise. Now let's go back to the video. Small group of hikers who were exploring a remote mountain trail near the border region of the Hindu Kush. The video was recorded late in the afternoon as the group followed a narrow path through snow-covered terrain. The wind could be heard moving through the rocks as the hikers quietly filmed their surroundings. At one point, the camera turns toward a motionless figure lying partially buried in the snow several yards away. The group slows down as they approach, speaking softly while the camera keeps its distance. From what can be seen in the clip, the person appears to have collapsed along the trail, far from any road or shelter. The hikers seem unsure how long the figure had been there, and the cold mountain air hangs heavy in the silence. One of them mentions that the nearest village is hours away by foot, making the location feel even more isolated. The footage ends shortly after the group backs away and decides to contact local authorities from the nearest settlement. No further information was shared in the original post, and the identity of the person was never discussed publicly. The mountains returned to their quiet stillness as the hikers left the trail behind. But if you came across something like that in the middle of a silent mountain path, would you ever forget the moment you first saw it? This clip was first uploaded on wildsphere.world's Instagram, and it has since become a viral warning for wildlife photographers across the country. While deep in the wilderness to capture shots of rare animals, a photographer set up a secure camp high in the trees. During the bright daylight hours, the quiet was shattered when he looked down and saw a large, powerful bear climbing the ladder, leading directly to his platform. The peaceful forest setting instantly turned into a desperate struggle for survival as the predator closed the distance with terrifying speed. As the bear reached the top, nearly face to face with the man, the photographer acted on pure instinct and sprayed his water-based repellent directly at the animal. The creature, which showed an unsettling lack of fear toward humans, or the height of the latter, was momentarily blinded by the sudden blast. Losing its grip on the rungs, the massive weight of the animal caused it to slip, sending it plummeting several feet down to the forest floor below. The encounter ends with a heavy thud as the bear hits the ground, but to the photographer's shock, it stands up almost instantly. Shaken but seemingly unhurt, the animal turns and sprints away into the thickest part of the woods, disappearing within seconds. The photographer remained frozen in his stand for hours, knowing that his only exit was the very ladder the predator had just climbed. If you were trapped 20 feet in the air and saw a pair of eyes rising toward you, would you have the nerve to stand your ground? While resting on a chair outside his tent deep in the forest, a solo camper was enjoying a quiet afternoon, completely unaware of his surroundings. The tension builds as a massive black bear calmly wanders into the campsite, moving so silently that the man doesn't even notice its presence at first. The predator walks right up to the side of the chair, its powerful frame standing just inches away from the seated camper. In a heart-stopping moment, the man turns his head slightly and catches a glimpse of the dark fur. But his brain doesn't immediately register the scale of the threat standing beside him. The bear remains curiously calm, showing an eerie lack of aggression as it sniffs the air around him. The encounter ends abruptly when the bear finally loses interest and wanders back into the thick brush. It is only after the animal has disappeared that the camper fully realizes what just happened, springing from his chair in a state of pure shock and sprinting toward safety. He left his camp exactly as it was, shaken by how close he came to a predator without ever hearing a sound. If you were sitting alone in the silence of the woods and felt a heavy breath on your shoulder, would you have the courage to look back? Couple driving along a narrow mountain road in the late afternoon. As they navigated a quiet stretch, the camera caught something strange above, a pair of small clumps of mud teetering on the edge of the slope. Within moments, they tumbled down, striking the road with a sudden rush of dust and soil. The impact is brief, but intense. A cloud of dirt rises, swallowing the area in a thick haze, and for a moment, everything around the car fades into darkness.
我靠！大地震！对，我赶快先躲到这个。哦，差点GG！看。哎，不是吧？What? What? Oh no! 完了，我拿救援了。
The couple's vehicle remains parked just below the slope, untouched, yet the scene feels far from ordinary. The camera lingers on the settling dust, capturing only silence and the fading blur of mud. The footage ends as the dust settles and the hillside returns to stillness, leaving the moment unexplained. Even after parking safely, the sudden eruption above leaves a lingering unease. And if the mountain itself can shift like that without warning, would you continue down the road or turn back? This footage from Brazil captures a chilling moment where a split-second joke nearly crossed the line into a fatal tragedy. It begins with a man proudly displaying a massive electric eel he just pulled from the river, while his friend stands by, laughing and reaching out to grab the creature like a trophy. They seemed completely unaware that they were inches away from a biological high-voltage line capable of delivering a lethal strike. The mystery deepens the moment contact is made. The electric eel is no ordinary river dweller. It is a living, breathing powerhouse that can discharge up to 600 volts in a single burst. This invisible force is designed to paralyze prey in under 5 seconds. And in the murky waters of South America, it is a silent, specialized killer. The video captures that heart-stopping transition where a lighthearted atmosphere suddenly freezes as the raw, hidden power of nature is unleashed. The encounter ends in a desperate scramble as the fisherman jerks the net away, breaking the electrical circuit just in time to save his friend's life. Though the man escaped a deadly fate, the footage serves as a haunting reminder of the unseen dangers lurking beneath the water's surface. If you were standing on that riverbank, knowing that a single touch could stop your heart in its tracks, would you ever dare to reach into the unknown? The scene begins in total silence. The surroundings are pitch black, with only the narrow beam of a flashlight cutting through the heavy darkness to scan the edge of the woods. In that chilling atmosphere, it felt as though an unseen pair of eyes was watching everything from the shadows. Suddenly, a massive shape materializes within the trembling glow of the flashlight. Moving with haunting silence and a majestic, predatory grace, a massive tiger steps from the brush to cross the road. As the light hits its fur, the iconic black stripes flicker momentarily against the dark foliage. It moves with a terrifying calm, completely indifferent to the light or the human presence, as if it knows it is the undisputed ruler of this territory. The mystery deepens as the tiger reaches the other side and instantly melts back into the impenetrable blackness of the trees. It was as if the jungle itself allowed its king to be seen for just a fleeting second before pulling him back into hiding. That brief encounter leaves a lingering sense of awe and dread. If you were walking down that deserted road and saw those glowing eyes appear in the beam of your flashlight, would you have the nerve to take another step? As they move carefully across the sand, the camera catches a small creature moving near the shoreline. In the dim light, its body glows faintly, revealing the unmistakable shape of a scorpion. The person crouches to get a closer look, keeping the camera steady. Its pincers twitch, and the glowing tail arches ominously as it shifts across the sand. The beach around them is silent, the waves muted, making the eerie glow of the tiny predator feel almost otherworldly. The footage ends as the scorpion disappears into a shadow near the dunes, leaving only its faint glow behind. No explanation is offered, leaving viewers with a brief, mysterious glimpse of the creature. And if even a small scorpion can glow in the dark, would you dare step closer? Two people riding bikes along a remote forest road in the middle of the day. As they ride through the quiet trees, the sudden sound of multiple gunshots rings out nearby, startling them. The camera shakes slightly as they realize how close the danger might be, the bright daylight doing little to ease their fear. They quickly take cover behind a small roadside structure, watching as the forest remains tense and still between the echoes of the shots. Shadows of the trees shift, but the source of the gunfire is nowhere to be seen, leaving the encounter unpredictable and unsettling. The noise fades gradually, yet the sense of danger lingers. The footage ends with them crouched in the small shelter, the forest returning to quiet stillness. No explanation is given for the gunfire, leaving viewers with only the brief, tense moment. And if such danger can erupt even in daylight, would you dare to continue along the path? The footage begins with an angler sitting in the pitch-black silence of the night, calmly casting his line into the obsidian water. Everything seems peaceful until the 10-second mark, when the stillness of the surface is shattered by a massive, violent explosion. Something immense and unidentified strikes the bait with such raw power that the fishing rod is instantly jerked into a sharp arc, nearly pulling the angler toward the dark water. The sheer force of the splash and the predatory speed of the attack go far beyond what a typical fish is capable of. This sudden surge of energy transforms a quiet night into a moment of pure, heart-pounding terror. The encounter ends when the line snaps under the extreme tension, and the unseen predator vanishes back into the deep, dark abyss. While some speculate it could be a massive alligator gar, the sheer violence of the strike has left many wondering what exactly is hiding beneath the surface. If you were sitting in that chair and felt a force that strong trying to pull you into the black water, would you ever have the nerve to cast a line there again? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Real D's Dark Adventures' TikTok. A man went camping alone deep inside a forest, planning to spend the night surrounded by silence and darkness. Hours passed without incident, until late at night, he stepped outside his tent with a flashlight, slowly scanning the trees. The forest felt unusually still, as if everything had paused. As the beam of light moved forward, it suddenly caught something staring straight back at him. It wasn't moving. It wasn't hiding. The shape was massive, far larger than any animal he could recognize. The eyes reflected the light, locked onto him, unblinking.
It's the same one. That's big, guys. That's big. I'm telling you, if it stands up. That's big. That's big. That's big. I don't know how. That's big. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Nope. That's big, dude. No. Guys, those eyes got like a foot. Okay.
For a moment, neither of them moved, and the distance between them felt dangerously small. Fear took over. He didn't wait to find out what it was or why it was watching him. He backed away, grabbed what he could, and left the campsite immediately, convinced he had wandered somewhere he was never meant to stay. And when something in the forest watches you before you notice it, would you still call it just another camping trip? This terrifying clip was uploaded on History Fuzz's TikTok. A group of people went camping deep inside a remote jungle, exploring the area during daylight before nightfall. As they moved uphill, one of them noticed something strange in the landscape. On the left side, the terrain seemed to form the shape of a massive serpent. Just ahead, the rock formation began to resemble a bird's head. An eye-like hollow, a rounded back of the skull, and what looked eerily like a beak. At first, they laughed it off, thinking it was just imagination. But as they continued moving downhill, the shapes became harder to ignore.
Past the horn-nosed serpent on the left, and the team are just coming upon the bird's head that looks like an eye with a bulbous back of the head and a beak. And that's us now making down towards the back of the caiman. There's the back.
From a higher angle, the formation now looked like the body of a giant caiman. The back, the snout, and a single eye shape were clearly visible, with what appeared to be an open mouth near the bottom of the hill. The camera kept rolling as they passed what looked like horned shapes in the rock, and the mood slowly shifted from curiosity to unease. None of them could explain why the shapes felt so deliberate, almost too perfect to be natural. Some believe it was nothing more than pareidolia, the mind finding patterns where none exist. Others think the jungle was hiding something older, watching quietly as they passed through. And when the land itself starts to look alive, would you keep walking or turn back before night falls? This disturbing clip was uploaded on Neobsnima-Style's Instagram. A few friends went camping deep in a dense forest as night began to fall. Around them, dry leaves littered the ground, and the forest seemed quiet, almost too quiet. They had set up their tents on a small clearing, perched on a little rise, thinking it was a safe spot for the night. Suddenly, the darkness was filled with terrifying, unexplainable sounds. Screams, growls, howls. The friends froze, hearts pounding, unsure if what they were hearing was human, animal, or something far more sinister. Every rustle of leaves and shadow moving in the trees made the fear grow. They had no idea what was approaching, but instinct told them to stay calm and stick together. Rescue teams and researchers might later try to explain these sounds, but for the campers in that forest, there was no time for logic, only survival. Was it just a wild animal, or something truly unknown lurking in the dark? One thing is certain: in the forest at night, every sound can become a nightmare. So, when you head into the woods after dark, would you dare stay if you heard something that shouldn't exist? This scary clip was uploaded on Zach Lake Powell's Instagram. A few boys and girls went camping in the middle of a narrow valley, wedged between two towering mountains. On either side of them were massive cliffs and huge rocks, making the spot look adventurous, but also extremely risky. At first, everything seemed calm. The air was fresh, and the group was excited for their little escape into nature. Suddenly, rain started pouring down from above. Water began rushing down the slopes on both sides of the mountains, quickly filling the valley.
This wasn't the plan.
The group realized the danger and scrambled towards safer, higher ground. In an instant, the narrow valley could have trapped them completely. The sheer speed of the flood left their hearts racing. They barely managed to get out in time. It was a shocking reminder of how powerful and unpredictable nature can be. Even a seemingly peaceful camping spot can turn deadly in seconds. Adventure is thrilling, but survival depends on awareness, quick thinking, and respect for the environment. This encounter proves that sometimes the mountains don't give warnings, and you have to run for your life. So, when you head into the wilderness, are you truly ready for the moment nature strikes without warning? Fahad MK went camping deep in a dense forest during the daytime. The forest was thick and overgrown, full of shadows and hidden corners. Fahad rode his bike into the area, searching for the perfect spot to set up his camp. He climbed a tall tree to scout the location and get a better view of the surrounding area. Suddenly, he heard an unexpected sound below. Looking down, his heart sank. A tiger was hiding in the forest, stalking the very spot he had chosen for camping. Fahad realized immediately that if he went down, the tiger could attack. Fear gripped him as he understood just how close the danger was. That once peaceful forest had turned into a deadly trap in an instant. This encounter left Fahad shaken and with a hard lesson. Sometimes, no matter how carefully you plan, nature's predators can appear without warning. After this, it's unlikely he'll ever camp in that forest again. It's a chilling reminder that in the wild, you're never truly safe. And even a beautiful forest can hide a deadly threat. So, the real question is, would you risk camping knowing a predator could be lying in wait? This scary clip was uploaded on Reed Timmer's Instagram. What starts as an ordinary outdoor adventure quickly turns into a nightmare no one was prepared for. Campers across Tornado Alley set up for the night, unaware that nature was about to unleash its full power. In one chilling moment, storm chasers inside the Dominator 3 intercept a massive tornado as it forms. Instruments record winds reaching an unbelievable 120 miles per hour inside the suction vortex, the exact moment the tornado plants itself on the ground.
Car power flashes! Touching up right here! Debris in the car! This is somebody's house! We're gonna need to turn around, guys! Direct intercept into the door! Direct intercept into the door!
As night falls, the danger doesn't fade. Instead, it moves closer. A powerful tornado later strikes Valley View, Texas, tearing through the area and proving that Tornado Alley is truly active again. For anyone camping nearby, there's no shelter, no warning strong enough, only the desperate need to escape before it's too late. With meteorologists closely watching the October 20th to 23rd window for the start of the fall severe weather season, one thing is clear: these storms are far from over. Live Dominator mode will return soon, but for campers caught in the open, the real question is, when the sky turns violent with nowhere to hide, would you know how to survive? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Haley_country_mom's Instagram. In this video, we can see a family enjoying a peaceful camping trip near a waterfall in the mountains. The mother is recording a video of their children and the father, capturing their happy moments as they sit together, laughing and having fun. It's a quiet, joyful day. One of those rare moments where everything feels calm, safe, and perfect in the middle of nature. Suddenly, the father notices something unusual. He freezes, then points ahead with his finger. At the same moment, their daughter nervously tells her mother that there's a crocodile on the mountain slope. When they all finally spot it, fear instantly takes over. The crocodile is there, right in front of them, and it looks terrifying. Its mouth is wide open, as if it's ready to attack, giving the impression that it's about to choose one of them as its prey. For a moment, it feels like the crocodile is targeting them, moving as if it intends to strike. The family realizes just how dangerous this place truly is, a reminder that wild animals can appear even in places that seem safe and beautiful. This area, deep within the hills and forest, suddenly feels extremely frightening. And it leaves one unsettling question behind. Were there more crocodiles hiding nearby, watching them all along? This scary clip was uploaded on Ali Golbasti's Instagram. This clip shows a terrifying moment from the Chipperson Valley, where a peaceful camping trip quickly turned into a fight for survival. Campers had settled near the mountains of Yeshkuk, enjoying the silence of nature, unaware that they were standing directly at the epicenter of a powerful force waiting to strike. Without any warning, the ground began to shake violently. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake ripped through the valley, turning the calm campsite into chaos within seconds. Tents trembled, rocks crashed down from nearby slopes, and dust filled the air. Extremely alarming footage captured the moment when campers realized they were in grave danger, scrambling to run as the earth beneath them refused to stay still. Panic spread fast. With no shelter and the mountains surrounding them, every second felt like a gamble between life and death. What began as an adventure instantly became a desperate escape from nature's raw power. And as the shaking slowly faded, one haunting question remained. If the earth can turn deadly without warning, would you know when to run and when it's already too late? On March 15th, 2025, a group of hikers set out to climb Spantic Peak, which rises to 7,027 meters in Pakistan's Karakoram Range. At first, the ascent seemed straightforward, but the thin snow covering much of the mountain made every step uncertain. Patches of exposed earth revealed treacherous terrain, turning each movement into a delicate balance between safety and disaster. The climbers could feel the mountain's quiet unpredictability, knowing that one wrong step could send them sliding down the slope. But the calm didn't last long. Suddenly, a massive boulder perched precariously at the top of a nearby hill began to shift. Slowly at first, then faster, it tumbled downward, scattering smaller stones in every direction. The campers screamed and scrambled, hearts pounding as the giant rock barreled toward them. What should have been a peaceful adventure had turned into a desperate fight for survival. These chilling encounters remind us that the wilderness is as unforgiving as it is beautiful. From tumbling boulders to slippery mountain slopes, the line between adventure and peril can vanish in an instant. Every trip into the wild carries risk, and every step could be the one that changes everything. So when you head into the mountains, ask yourself, are you ready to survive when nature decides to fight back? This scary clip was uploaded on Guide Toysland's Instagram. A few people went camping on Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach in Iceland. The beach was stunning, covered in black sand, scattered with small rocks, and surrounded by icy cliffs. The waves crashed onto the shore, creating a mesmerizing but powerful scene that seemed almost otherworldly. As one person filmed the scenery, a massive wave suddenly surged toward the group. The force of the ocean threw one of them into the water. In a terrifying instant, the camper was being swept away, struggling against the icy current. Panic set in as the others scrambled, trying to pull their friend to safety. Against all odds, quick thinking and teamwork saved them. But the moment was a chilling reminder of how unpredictable the sea can be. Iceland's nature is breathtaking, but also unforgiving. No photo or video is worth risking your life. Adventure is thrilling, but staying alert, respecting warning signs, and keeping a safe distance can mean the difference between life and death. So when you visit wild beaches like this, would you risk standing too close to nature's power? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Lakrama's Instagram. What seemed like a calm moment suddenly turns intense when a tiger steps onto the road. It moves with calm confidence, glancing at the campers and walking dangerously close along the path, every step powerful and deliberate. The forest falls completely silent, as if the entire wilderness is holding its breath. No birds, no wind, only the presence of the tiger and the frozen visitors. What was meant to be a peaceful camping experience instantly becomes a moment of pure tension, balanced between awe and fear. Long after the tiger passes, its presence lingers in the mind, a reminder of the wild's raw and unpredictable power. If a predator like this can appear so suddenly in daylight, even while camping, would you know whether to stay still or make a move? This incredible clip was uploaded on Puberty's Instagram. Two friends were camping near a river, surrounded by ice and snow during a cold winter day. The riverbanks were frozen, and the world seemed calm and quiet under the low winter sun. They set up their campsite, enjoying the serene, icy landscape, completely unaware of the danger building upstream. Suddenly, they noticed something unusual: a large surge of water coming from the river, carrying chunks of ice with it. The ice dam upstream had given way, and the water, trapped for hours, rushed downstream with incredible force. Sheets of ice cracked and tumbled into the river, creating a powerful, roaring surge. The campers watched in shock as the icy torrent swept along, carrying massive chunks of frozen water that could have easily destroyed anything in its path. It was a chilling reminder of how quickly nature can change. A peaceful river can turn into a dangerous flood in moments, and survival often comes down to awareness and quick action. Adventure is thrilling, but in the wild, you have to respect the forces around you. So, when you camp near icy rivers or streams, would you risk staying when nature decides to unleash its power? This incredible clip was uploaded on Sapavago's Instagram. Someone went camping in a park near a forest in Yosemite National Park, California, on December 26, 2025. The day was calm, with light rain falling, and the campsite felt peaceful. But as they stepped out of their camper, something caught their eye. A beautiful, wild bobcat, quietly moving through the trees nearby. The animal was stunning, but anyone who has spent time in the wilderness knows that wild cats, even small ones like a bobcat, can be dangerous. For a brief moment, the camper and the bobcat crossed paths, standing just feet apart. The tension was high. Every move mattered, but fortunately, neither was harmed. The encounter was unforgettable, a thrilling reminder that in the wild, beauty and danger often come hand in hand. It's moments like these that make you respect the forest. Even on a calm day, the wilderness is unpredictable, and encounters with wildlife can shift from awe-inspiring to dangerous in seconds. So, the real question is, if you came face to face with a wild predator like this, would you stay calm or run for your life? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Imankulit's TikTok and shows a group of friends who went camping in a forest along a mountainside, guided by a local tourist guide. Recent rain had soaked the ground, making every step slippery and tense. As they moved deeper into the forest, one of them, John, suddenly cried out in pain, clutching his eye and calling for help. When the group looked closer, they realized something alive was moving inside his eye. Panic spread instantly. They tried to remove it, but whatever it was refused to come out. John screamed in fear and pain as his friend struggled, unsure of what they were dealing with. After a long and terrifying moment, they finally managed to remove it safely. Relief washed over the group, but the fear stayed with them. If something so small and unexpected can turn a camping trip into a nightmare, would you know how to react? A few people went camping on a beach on a sunny day. The shoreline looked calm and inviting, but the ocean was hiding a dangerous secret. One of them noticed a massive wave approaching from the distance and quickly realized it was no ordinary surf. It was a sneaker wave, the kind that can surge far beyond the normal waterline, pulling everything in its path back into the sea. As the wave barreled toward the campers, they scrambled toward higher ground, filming the unfolding chaos. Another wave came, striking even closer, and two of the group were caught by the sudden surge. Fortunately, a brave companion rushed in to help, pulling them to safety just in time. The rest of the group watched in shock as the ocean displayed its raw, unpredictable power. After the wave retreated, it was unclear if everyone was unharmed, leaving a chilling reminder of the ocean's deadly potential. Calm waters can be deceiving. Sneaker waves strike without warning, faster than anyone can run, and the ocean never asks permission before it turns deadly. Adventure can be breathtaking, but respect for the water and quick thinking can save your life. So the question remains, would you recognize the danger before it's too late? A young man went deep into the woods for a quiet camping trip, hoping to spend the night alone with nature. Everything seemed peaceful at first, but sometime after midnight, he heard something that didn't belong there. the sound of a child crying. It was faint, distant, but clear enough to freeze him in place. Against his better judgment, he grabbed his camera and followed the sound deeper into the forest, pushing past branches and shadows. As he moved closer, the crying grew louder. Then, through the trees, he saw something disturbing. Behind a thick tree trunk stood a woman with long hair completely covering her face. She wasn't wearing any clothes. In front of her was what looked like a small child, and she appeared to be doing something unnatural, something he couldn't fully understand from where he stood. The air felt heavy, wrong, like he had stepped into something he was never meant to witness. Suddenly, the crying stopped. There was a brief silence, and then only the man's scream echoed through the woods. The camera dropped to the ground, the footage shaking violently before going still. The video ends there. No confirmation of what happened next. No sign of whether he survived. So tell me, if you heard a child crying alone in the middle of the forest at midnight, would you go looking for it? At first, he only took the forest road to get home faster. There was nothing strange about it. He simply started recording because the path was unusually quiet. No cars, no people. Just trees closing in on both sides of the narrow road. But after a few minutes, an uneasy feeling crept in, like something was following just out of sight. When he pointed the camera ahead, a white figure stood motionless between the trees. A pokong, wrapped tight, completely still. He tried to convince himself it was just a shadow, a trick of the light, until, from the left side of the frame, something else appeared.
Men,
Detik-detik.
tinggi banget ini, men.
Bang Boys.
Di atas permukaan tanah,
Dikejar
cuy.
kun-kun.
Assalamualaikum. Hei! Kamu apa itu di situ diam? Maju sini. Allahu Akbar, astagfirullah. Allah. Permisi. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al qayyum. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Allahu Akbar, astagfirullahaladzim. Auzu bi kalimatillahi tammati min syarri ma khalaq. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al qayyum. La ta'khudhu sinatun wa la nawm. Allahu Akbar. Acay.
A woman, floating. Her long black hair covered her face, her body gliding unnaturally above the ground. And then she started chasing him. Not running, not walking, just moving toward him faster than she should have been able to. The video doesn't end because he stopped recording. It ends because the camera falls when he starts running. The screen shakes, the forest spins, and then nothing. So tell me, did you notice the most terrifying part of the clip? One winter night, a man was sitting inside his car on a lonely road beside a forest. Snow had fallen heavily, blanketing the ground in thick, white silence. The engine was off, and the world felt frozen in place. Then he heard it, a long, sad, crying sound, stretching through the darkness. At first it seemed far away, almost beautiful. But as it echoed across the trees, it didn't feel natural. It felt deliberate, like something had noticed him. The howl came again, closer this time. Not just a clean howl, but something strange mixed in. A low growl, a sharp bark, then that drawn-out cry. His breath fogged the windshield as he tried to see through the swirling snow. That's when he realized something unsettling. The sound wasn't moving. It was circling. Slowly. As if whatever was out there wasn't just calling to a pack, but communicating with something unseen in the forest. He locked the doors, heart pounding. The final howl shattered the silence right beside the van, so close it vibrated through the metal frame. But when he forced himself to look outside, there were no tracks in the snow. Nothing at all. Just endless, empty white. In parts of Africa, there is a legend about a spirit called the dust devil. People say it protects the forests and controls the wind. Some believe it is an ancient spirit that can take the shape of an animal, move through the trees, and then disappear into the ground. When it rises, it forms a spinning column of dust, and wherever it goes, it can leave damage behind. One day, a group of tourists were driving near a forest when they saw a strange dust spiral forming ahead of them. At first, it looked like normal wind, but then it began to move in a way that felt almost controlled. Through the dust, some of them thought they saw a dark shape moving inside it. The wind grew stronger, and their voices in the video sounded nervous as they stepped back. The clip ends with the dust swirling, and the group unsure of what they had just seen. Many people say it was just a natural dust vortex, but others wonder, if it was only wind, why did it seem to move with purpose? In the middle of the day, a man walked deep into the forest and suddenly spotted a massive snake coiled tightly around something in the bushes. Its body was unnaturally thick, stretched across the ground like a fallen tree. Without thinking twice, he raised his rifle and fired. The shot echoed through the woods, but the snake didn't die. Instead, it slowly lifted its head and looked straight at him. Its eyes didn't look wild, they looked aware. He fired again. The snake began to uncoil and retreat into the trees. Panic mixed with adrenaline, and he kept shooting, determined not to let it escape. The forest felt strangely silent, almost heavy, as if something unseen was watching. Finally, after several shots, the snake collapsed and stopped moving. But when he stepped closer, his blood ran cold. Whatever the snake had been wrapped around was gone. Nobody. No blood, than just disturbed soil and faint drag marks leading deeper into the forest. The snake hadn't been hunting. It had been restraining something. And now, whatever it was free. Now tell me, if you were standing there, watching that enormous creature in the forest, would you have pulled the trigger? The video opens in complete darkness, deep in the woods at night. A shaky flashlight beam slices through the black, revealing pieces of trees and empty forest floor. The air feels heavy, silent except for nervous breathing behind the camera. Then the light lands on a large, twisted tree trunk, and that's when something becomes visible. Clinging to the bark is a tall, shadowy figure with pale, grayish skin. Its limbs are thin, too thin. Long, sharp fingers dig into the wood as if it's part of the tree itself. The creature doesn't charge, it doesn't scream, it simply holds on, perfectly still, blending into the rough texture of the trunk. The patches of light and shadow almost hide it completely, like it was never meant to be seen unless the beam hit it just right. What makes the moment even more disturbing is that it doesn't try to escape. It stays there, watching, almost camouflaged, almost patient. The video ends with the flashlight still trembling, fixed on the figure that refuses to move. So tell me, if you were alone in those woods and your light revealed something clinging to a tree like that, would you keep shining the beam or slowly turn it off? A man in Medan was sitting outside, sipping his coffee on an ordinary afternoon. The street was quiet, the wind barely moving the leaves. Nothing seemed unusual. Then, his eyes caught a lone figure walking slowly along the roadside. An older man carrying a black bag, moving with a calm, deliberate pace. but something about him was wrong. The upper part of his body, it simply wasn't there. From the angle of the camera, it looked as if his head had vanished into thin air, leaving only a torso moving unnaturally forward. The figure didn't stumble, didn't hesitate. He continued walking, straight and steady, blending into the trees and light around him, as if the world itself was allowing him to exist, only partially. The man filming didn't notice at first, only realizing the chilling impossibility when replaying the footage. The silhouette carried on until it disappeared around the corner, leaving behind only the quiet street and a lingering sense of unease. Locals say this part of the road is rarely used, and some believe that not everything that appears here is entirely of this world. Sometimes, things show themselves, only partially, only long enough to be seen, and then vanish. So tell me, if you were standing there and saw a figure walking without a head, would you approach it or run before it notices you? A family was driving along Old Mill Road near Pine Hollow Forest in West Virginia when their headlights caught something standing ahead. A woman dressed in white. Her neck was tilted at an unnatural angle. Long, dark hair clung to her face, and blood stained the front of her dress. For a brief second, she stood perfectly still in the beam of light. Then she moved. She didn't walk. She ran, keeping pace with the car. A family member began recording as panic filled the vehicle. No matter how fast they accelerated, she stayed beside them. Witnesses say her feet never seemed to touch the ground, and when the driver pressed harder on the gas, she turned her head slowly and smiled. The video continues for a few more seconds. No camera drop, no explanation, just her figure gliding behind them in the darkness. Then the clip abruptly ends. The next morning, the family's car was found abandoned near that same stretch of road. The doors were unlocked. Their phones were still inside. The engine was cold. The family was never seen again. Locals say the woman appears only when she's been invited to be seen, and once she follows you, she never stops. So tell me, if you looked in your rearview mirror and saw her still keeping pace, what would you do? This is the terrifying video of Sergei, a Russian hunter who ventured deep into the Siberian forest in search of game. The wilderness stretched endlessly around him, towering trees, frozen ground, and a silence so thick it almost felt alive. He set up for the night expecting nothing more than the usual sounds of the wild. But as darkness settled in, the forest didn't feel empty anymore. At first, it was just distant movement between the trees. Then came unfamiliar noises, not quite animal, not quite human. Sergei turned on his camera. I'm scanning the darkness with a trembling light. Shadows shifted in ways that didn't match the wind. The deeper he looked into the forest, the more it felt like something was watching him back. What was meant to be a simple hunting trip became the most chilling night of his life. The video ends without clear answers, only heavy breathing, and the sense that the forest holds secrets it doesn't want discovered. So tell me, if you were alone in the depths of Siberia and realized you weren't the only one out there, would you stay or run before it's too late? A chilling video from the Grand Canyon captures how quickly a thrill-seeking decision can spiral out of control.
Oh no. Oh no. Don't look, don't look. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
In the footage, a man climbs past clearly posted safety warnings and steps beyond the protective metal railing. He carefully makes his way onto a narrow rocky ledge, suspended above a massive drop into the canyon below. The view is breathtaking, but dangerously deceptive. Off camera, his friends' voices grow more urgent. What starts as nervous laughter quickly shifts to panic. As the man tries to adjust his footing and stand upright, the loose dirt beneath him suddenly crumbles. In a split second, he loses balance and slips over the edge. The camera jerks violently as screams echo through the canyon, and someone can be heard calling for emergency help. The video ends in chaos, leaving viewers shaken. At extreme heights like this, there is no room for mistakes. One unstable patch of ground is all it takes to turn a risky photo into a life-altering tragedy. Nature doesn't negotiate with overconfidence. So tell me, would you ever cross a safety barrier just for the perfect shot? A man exploring deep in the Amazon jungle claims he stumbled upon something no one had documented before. A strange plant unlike anything he had ever seen. At first, it looked almost beautiful, with bright, unnatural coloring that stood out against the dense green forest. But when he spoke near it, the flowers instantly folded inward, hiding themselves at the mere sound of a human voice. Not touch, not movement, just sound. Scientists later examined the footage and were stunned. Plants reacting to physical contact are common, but one that responds immediately to sound alone? That behavior had never been recorded. Even more disturbing, laboratory analysis reportedly found traces of animal cells within the plant's structure, suggesting it may not be entirely passive. Some researchers believe it could have predatory traits, possibly feeding on living organisms. And those bright colors? They may signal the presence of powerful toxins. Experts are still trying to determine where this plant came from and how its defense mechanism truly works. With only about 15% of the Amazon ever explored, countless species remain hidden in the shadows. But after seeing how this one reacts to a human voice, you have to wonder, if the forest can hear you, what else might be listening? A young man named OFI, living in Eskişehir, Turkey, had taken up fishing as a hobby. Obsessed with a bet to catch the biggest fish, he became determined to prove himself. One night, he set up camp at Çatıran Dam, eager to win the challenge. He even placed a camera at the water's edge to record his success, waiting patiently in the dark. Around midnight, he spotted a fish so large it seemed almost human-sized. Driven by ambition, he jumped into the water, certain he was about to claim the prize. What he encountered was far from ordinary. Instead of a normal fish, OFA came face to face with a humanoid creature unlike anything seen before. Its strange, unnatural form and violent struggle nearly cost him his life. The horrifying moment left him shaken to his core, questioning what really existed in the depths of the dam. After that night, OFA never returned to fishing. He packed up and went home, convinced he had witnessed something supernatural. He even swore off eating fish entirely. So tell me, if you saw something in the water that defied all explanation, would you ever go fishing again? This incredible display of Batesian mimicry features a hawk moth caterpillar that has evolved to look exactly like a snake. By tucking its tiny head away and inflating the rear segments of its body, it reveals large, menacing eye spots that create a remarkably convincing illusion of a dangerous reptile.
Okay, one more time, because it is pretty incredible. That's the tail that you're looking at, the one that looks like the head. I'm trying, but until she turns around, that looks like a snake, right? It's not, it's just a caterpillar, but it's made to look like a snake. And this one, more than any other, looks the most like a snake I've ever seen. Guys didn't even believe me. Jesus, look at that head on it, but it's a tail. The head is actually up here. It's so cool, this thing. So good. Thank you for doing that, Leah. Jesus, look at that. Incredible.
Predators, biologically programmed to fear snakes, often hesitate. And that split-second pause can make all the difference. The caterpillar's deception is more than just clever. It's a matter of survival. By imitating a predator rather than trying to fight, it avoids becoming someone else's meal entirely. Nature, in this way, has perfected the art of disguise, turning vulnerability into an extraordinary advantage. So tell me, if you stumbled upon what looked like a snake in the wild, only to realize it wasn't, would you be impressed by its trick or terrified? This scary clip was uploaded on Ibroxim5555's Instagram, recorded by a group camping in a small clearing deep inside a forest. They had set up their tents and lit a campfire as night fell, surrounded by complete darkness on all sides. Everything was calm at first, until strange noises began coming from inside the woods, just beyond the reach of the firelight. Concerned, one person picked up a camera and a flashlight and slowly moved toward the sound. As soon as the light hit the trees, something reflected back. It looked like a glowing shape deep in the forest. As the camera adjusted, more lights appeared. Small, flickering points that looked disturbingly like eyes, staring back from the darkness.
Begi bitti. Hani ko'zing qaravatdi. Ikkita. Ko'p o'tdi, o'ntlardan bor. U daxuya.
The forest went silent again, except for the crackling fire behind them. The glowing shapes didn't move closer, but they didn't disappear either. No animals could be clearly identified, and there were too many reflections to explain easily. So if those weren't animals watching from the trees, then what exactly was looking back at them from the dark? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Nandhein's Lice's Instagram, recorded by a group of friends who went camping in a remote forest late at night. The time was exactly 12:30 a.m., and at first, everything felt calm and quiet. The woods were still, and the path ahead seemed normal as they continued their camping exploration deeper into the forest. As they moved farther from their campsite, strange noises began echoing through the darkness. At first, it sounded like distant hammering, slow, rhythmic impacts coming from somewhere unseen. With every step forward, the sound grew louder. Then, without warning, it changed.
Going first.
Oh my, go first. I'm ready to pick her. You gotta get lower than that. Look at him move.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, it's about to catch something. Y'all ready to go back?
From deep beneath the ground came terrifying screams, voices that sounded human, crying out as if trapped below the forest floor. The screams didn't stop. Fear instantly took over. The group froze, realizing their camping trip had taken a disturbing turn into something unnatural. Without saying a single word, all 5 of them turned around and ran for their lives, never daring to return to that forest again. Because when you hear human-like screams rising from beneath the ground during a camping trip at midnight, you have to ask, what exactly did they encounter out there in the dark? This scary clip was uploaded on Laren.com's Instagram. It comes from Yangiabad, Uzbekistan, once a major uranium mining center, now filled with abandoned shafts and forgotten tunnels. A group decided to explore one of these old mines, entering deep underground, where the light quickly disappeared. Inside, the darkness was overwhelming, and the air felt heavy, like the place had been sealed off for decades. As they moved farther in, they discovered a deep pit carved into the rock.
Yeah. Ебать, съебались, пацаны. Ебать.
When they shined their light down into it, the beam seemed to vanish, unable to reach the bottom. Almost immediately, they began hearing sounds, something that resembled breathing, followed by a low, distant voice, as if someone was whispering or crying from deep within the shaft. Then the sound changed. What started as a faint noise turned into something closer to a scream. Panic set in instantly. The group didn't wait to investigate any further. They turned and ran, fleeing the mine as fast as they could. And the question that still haunts viewers is this: if those mines have been abandoned for years, who or what was screaming from the darkness below? This terrifying clip was uploaded on MT Riley's Instagram, caught on a trail camera in Red Hook, New York. According to the camper, it was nearly 3 a.m., with temperatures around 24 degrees, and the area was swamp hunting land, thick mud mixed with patches of snow. The camper had set up an outdoor camera near the campsite before going to sleep, expecting nothing more than the usual wildlife passing through the frame. What the camera captured was anything but normal. In a split second, a dark shape moved between the trees, passing through the grass at incredible speed. The figure crossed roughly 40 yards in just 1.5 seconds, far faster than any known animal native to the area. It appeared to be moving on 2 legs, with what looked like 2 arms, and for a brief moment, a strange beam or flash of light could be seen along its side. The camper later said, "There are no known species in that region capable of moving anywhere near that fast, especially through mud and snow in freezing conditions." The footage hasn't been edited and isn't AI generated, yet no clear explanation has ever been given. So, if this wasn't an animal, and it wasn't a person, then what exactly ran past that camera in the middle of the swamp at 3 a.m.? This scary clip was uploaded on liminal.d's Instagram, recorded in the middle of a field, late in the evening, as someone was driving along a quiet road. The night was calm, with only the faint hum of the engine, when suddenly, a strange, bright red object appeared far off in the distance. It moved toward the vehicle at an astonishing speed, far faster than anything ordinary.
No way! Holy!
The driver froze as the glowing red shape streaked closer and closer, its path seemingly intentional. It didn't appear to slow down or hesitate. Then, without warning, it passed right by the car, close enough that its light reflected across the windshield. The speed, the brightness, and the sudden proximity made it impossible to ignore. For a brief moment, the driver could only stare, unsure whether what they were seeing was natural, mechanical, or something else entirely. And when a red streak moves faster than reason and passes right by you in the dark, you can't help but wonder, what exactly just flew past that car? This scary clip was uploaded on Justin Thenick of Crime's Instagram. The clip comes from a quiet campsite late at night. It was recorded from a balcony at exactly 1:06 a.m., surrounded by snow in every direction. At first glance, nothing seems out of place until you notice the sky. It isn't dark. Instead, it looks faintly bright, almost like early morning, even though the night should be at its deepest.
I want to show you guys something absolutely insane. We are in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge, Tennessee area right now. It is snowing, and I don't know if it's a full moon tonight or whatever, but look at this. It looks like it's daytime. It is 1:06 in the morning. It is 1:06 a.m. right now, and it is incredibly bright outside because of the snow, I guess the reflection, whatever. I'm going to be honest, I've seen a lot of snow, but I have never seen anything like this.
There are no streetlights on, no visible light sources anywhere nearby. Yet the snow reflects a soft glow, making everything strangely clear. The sky holds a dull brightness that doesn't belong to midnight. The person filming doesn't say much, as if they're trying to understand what they're seeing before reacting to it. What makes this clip unsettling is how normal it tries to look. Campers are used to darkness at this hour, but this doesn't feel like night, and it isn't dawn either. Some viewers say it's a rare natural effect. Others believe something about this moment feels off, because when the sky refuses to go dark at 1:06 in the morning, you have to wonder what kind of night this really was. This terrifying clip was uploaded on BS Stan's TikTok, recorded during a daytime camping trip in the desert. While exploring the area, the camper noticed a high, mountain-like formation in the distance. Curious, they moved closer and saw that the area was covered with rocks of all sizes, scattered across the dry landscape. What stood out was one particular formation. A large stone was perfectly balanced on top of a much smaller rock. It didn't look like it should be able to stay there. There were no signs of recent movement, no tools, and no clear explanation for how something so heavy could rest so precisely without falling. The camper couldn't explain how the formation came to be. In a place with strong winds and shifting ground, it felt unnatural. Some believe it's a rare natural balance, while others see it as a deliberate marker left behind. But if no one placed it there, what exactly shaped that stone in the middle of the desert? This scary clip was uploaded on Ladybug2725's Instagram, recorded during a late-night camping trip. A camper was driving along a narrow forest road, heading deeper into the woods while listening to the radio. The area was completely quiet, with trees on both sides and no other vehicles in sight. Everything felt normal, until a car suddenly appeared ahead, stopped in the middle of the road. At first, it didn't seem threatening, but then the door of the parked car opened. A man stepped out and slowly began walking toward the camper. In his hand was a large, sharp knife. He didn't ask for help. He didn't say a word. He just kept moving forward, blocking the road, as if trying to scare the driver and stop them from going any further.
All you're doing is ushering in, you're rushing in technology to replace people.
I gotta get by, dude.
Just so you understand that. But best, do you see, they're trying to craft the message at the exact same time. We're going to invest in every baby born $1,000 and let families learn compound interest and let families learn what the market can do and what capitalism can do for your future. We want to start economic educations at birth. So people can root and cheer for our free market system. Democrats are selling for it to be torn apart. It's a race, it's a narrative race for the future of the...
Realizing the danger, the camper panicked and quickly turned the vehicle around, managing to escape down the dark forest road. No one knows who that man was, or why he was standing there in the middle of the woods that night. And the most disturbing question remains: what would have happened if the camper hadn't turned around in time? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Funi___'s Instagram. Two friends venture into a dark train tunnel late at night, their flashlight barely cutting through the thick blackness. The air feels heavy and damp, echoing every footstep in a way that makes the darkness seem alive. At first, the tunnel appears empty, but an unsettling feeling quickly creeps over them, as if something unseen is waiting further ahead. As they move deeper, strange sounds begin to echo off the walls, soft rustles, faint scraping, and whispers that seem to follow their every step. Their flashlight illuminates nothing, yet the sensation of being watched grows stronger with each stride. Every instinct screams to turn back, but curiosity and the need to record keeps them moving forward. Then it starts. A horrifying, guttural sound emerges from the tunnel behind them, rising in intensity. It follows them relentlessly, echoing with every footstep. Invisible, yet undeniably close. And when a dark tunnel becomes alive with unseen movement, every shadow and every sound forces a chilling question. What exactly is stalking them in the depths? This scary clip was uploaded on FlowDaddy Matt's Instagram and was recorded by someone driving to a campsite late at night. As they traveled along the road, a strange red glow appeared in the distance, flickering like fire. Smoke seemed to rise from the source, drifting across the road and making the scene feel otherworldly. As the car got closer, the driver noticed small objects falling onto the vehicle. Tiny rocks, almost like pebbles, clattering against the roof. The road ahead was littered with similar stones, scattered as if the ground itself had erupted. The strange red glow illuminated everything, casting long, shifting shadows across the rocky path. The combination of falling rocks, the smoke, and the eerie red light made the night feel alive and threatening. Nothing moved nearby except the glowing source, yet the sensation of danger was undeniable. This chilling clip was uploaded on SD Myers 89's Instagram, recorded during a camping trip deep in the woods. While walking through the area, the camper noticed something unusual ahead and decided to keep filming. At first glance, it looked like a small animal resting in an awkward position, completely unfazed by the surroundings. As the camera got closer, the sound became clear. If you turn the volume up, you can actually hear it snoring, loudly. The little guy looked completely passed out, like it had pulled an all-nighter with its buddies and decided this was the perfect place to sleep it off. Despite how it looked, the animal wasn't stuck. Later on, it calmly pulled its legs in on its own. Moments like this are a reminder that you never really know what you're going to encounter in the woods while camping. Sometimes it's unsettling, sometimes it's mysterious, and sometimes it's just strange in the best way. But if this is what's comfortable enough to fall asleep out here, what else might be watching nearby while campers walk right past? This terrifying clip recorded by a group of friends who regularly drive up and down the mountain roads of Tanay, Rizal late at night. They usually go midweek, around 2 a.m., when there are fewer motorists on the road, pushing their cars through the curves on the way back to Manila. On this particular night, they were passing through a section of Tanay, far from houses and modern establishments, where the road feels isolated and unusually quiet. As they drove through the darkness, something caught their attention. In the headlights, a strange presence appeared along the roadside, out of place, unmoving, and difficult to identify at first glance. The area was known to be remote, with no nearby homes or activity that could easily explain what they were seeing. The moment felt heavy, like the road itself was watching them pass through. They continued driving, but the sight stayed with them long after they left the mountain behind. Tanay has long been known for stories and unexplained encounters, especially along its darker stretches of road. And when the same place keeps showing signs of activity late at night, far from civilization, you have to ask, what is it about this mountain road that refuses to stay quiet after midnight? This chilling clip was uploaded on Spectral Explorer's Instagram. A late-night drive takes a sudden and terrifying turn. What begins as a quiet trip after midnight quickly feels wrong when the GPS cuts out without warning and the dashboard lights start to flicker. The road ahead looks unfamiliar, stretching deeper into darkness with no clear sense of where it leads. As the car continues forward, an overwhelming feeling sets in. The sense of being watched. Just beyond the reach of the headlights, something seems to be moving along the tree line.
What the fuck?
Stop. No,
Stop.
I'm not. No. Hell no.
What the fuck, dude?
No. They were soaked.
Okay.
It never fully appears on camera, but its presence feels undeniable, as if the woods themselves are paying attention. Even after the drive ends, the fear doesn't fade. The memory of that night lingers, sending chills long after the engine shuts off. And when a simple drive turns this unsettling in seconds, you have to ask, would you survive a late-night road like this? This terrifying picture was uploaded on Reddit. The man didn't notice anything unusual at the time. He was exploring an abandoned mine, and there were no oddly shaped walls or face-like formations anywhere around. Everything seemed normal. It wasn't until he got home and looked at the photo again that he realized something strange had been captured, something he didn't see while he was there. The mine has a dark history. He was told someone had died there, though he couldn't confirm it. What stood out immediately were dozens of lit candles and a welded cross nearly 2 meters tall at the entrance. It made the stories feel real, like someone, or something, had left a warning. The creepiest part? The man never saw it in person, only in the photo later. And when something only shows itself after you've left, you have to wonder, was it watching him the whole time? Or did it only reveal itself once he was gone? The person didn't film the scariest moments, too busy not dying, but caught this footage while leaving camp, knowing a mountain lion was stalking them from afar. Earlier, a black bear had approached their tent, and they had to scare it off. Later, they felt an unsettling sense of being watched and quickly packed up. Headlamp on, nice yellow eyes stared from the woods, 20 to 30 feet away.
I don't know if you can see its eyes, but I'm having a standoff with what might be a fucking mountain lion right now. Stay away! Get away! Fuck. Hey! I see you! Stay away! Stay away! Psh. Psh.
The creature's head bobbed, studying them. They yelled, clacked their trekking poles, and tried to appear bigger, carefully moving backward and putting distance between them and the predator. Around 1 a.m., they found a tent with a couple and their large, white wolf-like dog. After explaining the situation, they were allowed to camp beside them. That day, they had hiked over 40 miles and faced both a bear and a mountain lion. If this could happen to them, could it happen to you on a late-night mountain hike? Now, drop a comment with the scariest thing that's ever happened to you outdoors. And if these clips genuinely creeped you out, hit like. Subscribe too, because your story might end up in the next compilation.